I was born a free man, lived with my family in New York.
Be good for your mother.
Until the day I was deceived.
To Solomon.
Kidnapped. Sold into slavery.
Welcome everybody to What the Flick. Ben Mankiewicz, Christy, Lemire, Alonso, Duralde. We're into October. We're into the important film.
Prestige,
with a capital I.
Prestige Pictures, I believe, is a phrase you're looking for.
No, I was not. I don't.
Oscar Bates.
Not the way I
call it by its name, yes.
That not way I talk. 12 Years a Slave, which has generated a great excitement and. Should it, Christy? First, what's it about?
Alonso's going to describe it.
Oh, Alonso.
Sorry. People confuse us all the time. Yeah. It's the third feature film from artist turned filmmaker Steve McQueen, an adaptation of the memoir by Solomon Northup. It's almost kind of a Hitchcock story in terms of innocent man thrown into a terrible situation. Northup was a free man in New York in 1841. A couple of con artists managed to get him to Washington, D.C., where they drugged him and sold him into slavery. And he basically spent 12 years in Louisiana doing the most horrible stuff imaginable, trying to get back to his wife and family. And he's played by the great actor Chiwetel Ejiofor, and it is a powerful piece. Take a look.
Well, boy, how you feel now?
My name is Solomon Northup. I'm a free man, and you have no right whatsoever to detain me.
You're no free man. You're nothing but a Georgia runaway.
Speak!
Man does how he pleases with his property.
You come here. I said come here!
I thought you know something.
I did as instructed. There's something wrong. It's wrong with the instruction.
Master brought you here to work. Any more, I'll earn you 100 lashes.
So, first of all, let's get it out there at the top. This is a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's something about it, though, that kept me from feeling that it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. I think it's well short of being great. I mean, on the traditional 4-star thing, this just screams 3 stars to me. And I've had trouble figuring out what it is that makes it not great to me, since most people seem to think that it is great. There's no question. It's a sequence of events.
Yeah.
And maybe that was it. That it just seemed like one thing after another, and there isn't a great deal of humanity in it.
There isn't the arc that you would expect, where you would think that maybe the entire movie is going to be about just him trying to get out. And I think because that notion gets sort of literally beaten out of him early on, it only fires up occasionally that he's get some paper and write a letter or something. But I think that it's not the transcendent movie that I think some of the early reviews would lead you to believe that it is, but it's an exceptionally powerful one, and I think so well put together, and it's one of those movies that just I think portrays a corner of American history that we still don't talk about enough.
Right.
We still don't really explore with the kind of depth that we should, because I think it's something we all there's a certain national amnesia about racial issues, slavery in particular, and I think just seeing some of that stuff portrayed so vividly, and just the idea of living with the notion that at any moment you could be sold, you could be killed, you could be whatever, and it wouldn't matter, and there was no
your government, the United States of America, which is supposed to come to the rescue of people in need, would be like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if you're looking at, we had Lincoln last year and we had Django last year.
Sure.
Totally different angles on this. Like Steve McQueen just goes for it in the most gruesome, unflinching way possible, to the point where it feels really gratuitous and heavy-handed. So there's the scene where he is hanging.
Yeah.
Right? There's a scene where he's hanging and he has his toes down in the mud just enough
to
not die.
To not strangle,
to still breathe a little bit. And people who run the plantation to put him there, the guy who owns the plantation has been fetched, Benedict Cumberbatch has been fetched to come and actually settle this thing. And I swear to God, Steve McQueen holds that shot for what feels like beyond an eternity.
Let me tell you why I loved that scene. And I did.
Why?
And I loved it.
Okay.
It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because
that one shot.
Yeah, because we see is all the other slaves who want nothing more than to get him a stand to rest his feet and save his life, and they can't do it. And they have to walk around and go about their business, unable to attend to their friend within inches of dying.
One girl brings him water at some point.
Right, when nobody's looking.
Right.
That they get away with because there won't be evidence of that. You can drink the water and go away. Anybody brings him a stand, all the other slaves will die as well. Right. So I thought that was incredibly effective. I thought that was the intent of that scene.
No, I think it delivers what it's supposed to do, and I didn't feel like it was overdoing it. At times, I kind of felt like this is the movie. Like if Roots could have been rated R, right? Because Roots flirts with this stuff, and you get the idea. There's the beatings, and there's they sell.
Right, but it was 1977, and it was American television.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was within its parameters. It did what it could do, and this one was like, you know what? Let's really kick out the jams here and not pussyfoot around what a nightmare this thing was, And it just God, I mean, when like Michael Fassbender wakes them all up in the middle of the night to like dance
for him,
and to do those ridiculous 19th century minuets or whatever the hell they are,
And the wife's like, here's a cookie, eat the cookie, and they're terrible.
Yeah. Oh God. It was just such the psychological stress of living like that day in day out is what I think he's trying to convey.
But that to me is more powerful than showing every single lash mark on Patsy's back. The psychological torture to me is more frightening.
I think that the physical torture plays
into
it as well.
I feel like he can't help himself. He has to show every single lash mark. He can't restrain himself.
But are you saying that he showed every lash, or that he showed every lash mark when it was all over?
Both.
Because I feel like he could have gone longer with both and didn't.
Interesting.
What I thought it was important to see the lashes when a slave named Patsy, who we come to identify with, who's going through her own particular version of hell, being owned by Michael Fassbender. But when the scene that we see her getting whipped is the scene where Chiwetel Ejiofor is forced, which happened, of course, and so he sort of focuses initially just on watching us watch Solomon forced to whip someone else is the only way to keep them both alive, right? And then we see her suffering afterwards. It wasn't the gratuitousness of it; it was the sequentiality to make up a word.
No. I guess anecdotal, is that what you call it? When it was just sort of the series of it. I think that the movie lacks a certain emotional sweep that would have made this great. Like you said, I think it is very good. And the thing is, Steve McQueen doesn't work that way. If you look at Hunger, if you look at Shame, which I think was a less successful movie, I think he has a certain sense of, I'm just going to step back and you're going to take a look at this and you can come away with whatever you want, which is fine, and that's a certainly valid way to do it, but it's not going to deliver that thing that audiences, I think, often want and need to walk away from something. Because I'll tell you, frankly, I think, just a little dollop of kind of color purple sentimentality in the last scene of the film would have really put this thing over the top. That's just me. I know people will disagree, but I still think it's an exceptional piece of work. The performances are great. I mean,
I think
this movie is filled with. I didn't know who all was in this thing before I saw it, and
Brad Pitt,
Paul Giamatti, and Adepero Oduye has a couple of great scenes from Pariah, Paul Dano, and Taryn Killam from SNL. I mean, just
Sarah Paulson, as Fassbender's wife, who I think is great.
She's amazing.
Just let me say a couple of things that I really want to get out in this movie, and I think that. We just talked about Captain Phillips. We'll have that review up here too, and I think Hanks is worthy of an Oscar nomination. But I think that that Ejiofor beats him if it comes down to a two-man race. There's obviously a lot that's going to go into this because I thought he was great. I just didn't think the movie was quite up to that standard. But you mentioned Roots, and Alonso and I are the same age. You were too young when Roots came out.
I don't know. I'm 41, so I I was 5?
Yeah,
you.
But Alonso and
I didn't watch Roots when I was.
We were told by our fifth grade history teacher told us to watch it.
Okay.
We watched Roots, and it changed my life, and I presume it changed yours too.
I read the book a few summers later.
Right. I mean, it gave you a prism of how to look at slavery that no one could shake me from forever. Anybody who ever said, it was just what is that? It's a peculiar
peculiar institution.
A peculiar institution. Like, no, man, it was slavery. And so I think I saw it at Telluride, and there was some dispute there about whether how old kids had to be to see this movie because it is very violent. But I would say 10. 11, like
to see
12.
12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
I'd say tween, yeah.
But I mean, it matters. Like, it matters. And the fact of it does matter, the fact that your generation didn't have roots.
My generation.
But you
like I'm 20 years younger than you or something.
But you didn't get, you didn't see it.
iPhones and whatnot.
It's a seminal thing to understand. Right. And so whether or not I thought it was great or good, I think every kid at least 12 years old should see this movie, because it's this generation's ability to now frame the way they view slavery, and therefore the crucial prism of how they view race relations in this country going forward. I think it's a must-see more than any other movie, even though I only liked it and didn't like it.
Especially if it's a 12-year-old who's already saw Django Unchained. That was way more violent. And
slavery was way more fun back then.
And not nearly as, historically kind of gutting as this film.
So I gave it a 7.5, but with a must-see 7.5.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 7. Amazing performances, amazing production design. It's kind of overbearing and heavy-handed to me in a lot of ways, but you don't think that.
I give it a 9. I think it's exquisitely put together and powerful, and there are scenes that are hard to watch. It does what it sets out to do. I would have liked a little more emotional heft, but that's just me. I think people should definitely see this movie.
7.8 for 12 Years a Slave. It's right now, I think there's one negative review up on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's at 90%.
97.
Even better.
97.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kicking ass.
Yeah, bye.